Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our current session focuses on some examples of register. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would have further understanding of the concept of register in sociolinguistics with the help of examples that I would try to share with you during the session. Well, my dear students, at the outset of the session, I would just like to share a simple example, for example, of writing a letter. A letter can be started like this: I am writing to inform you that. Well, there can be a variation in that, and somebody may write, I just wanted to let you know that. Now, if you look at these two choices that are shown on the screen as well, I am writing to inform you. This choice is more formal as compared to I just wanted to let you know, to this other choice. And actually, there are dozens of other possibilities of writing, these kind of openings. Such examples could actually be endlessly multiplied. You can write the same thing in so many different ways. So the amount of variation that can be created in all these choices, this is due to register differences that might be comparable in some ways with the dialects. Because by making these choices of I am wanting to say this, or I want to say this, or I just want to tell you, or I am just telling you, etc., the speaker or the writer in this case of the letters is creating a particular kind of identity. Showing you some more examples, I would say the dimension of formality is totally independent of the dimension of technicality. Now, my dear students, I want you to understand two aspects here: formality and technicality. There are two important aspects, two different dimensions. One is formality, the other is technicality. And what is asserted here is that formality and technicality are two different aspects. And actually, by using these two variables, formality and technicality, 4 different combinations can be made to illustrate how, perfectly normal sentences can be created with the help of that. Let me show you how. The first combination, as I said, 4 combinations can be made. The first combination of this formality and technicality is where, a language, a sentence or an utterance or a part of a sentence would be both formal and technical. For example, we obtained some sodium chloride. So this is technical as well, and this is formal. Formal through what? The choice of obtained. Let us look at the other 3 combinations. The second combination is, it is formal, but it is non-technical. We obtained some salt. Instead of sodium chloride, the technical term, the lexical item salt is used, so it becomes non-technical, whereas the degree of formality is retained. It is still formal. The word obtained shows that. Look at another choice, the third combination. It is informal. Now, this time there is no formality, but it is technical. And how would be the example? We got some sodium chloride. Again, sodium chloride is a technical name, so it is used, technical language is used, whereas the degree of formality is very low, it is informal. Instead of saying we obtained, now the choice that is made is we got. And let us look at the fourth and the last choice in this reference, that is informal, non-technical. Neither it is formal nor it is technical. And how would be the example? We got some salt. Like this one, non-technical salt. Here again, non-technical lexical item salt is used, so it is not technical language, and also it is not very formal language. Informal language, got, is used. So there, in terms of the choice of degree of formality and in terms of the choice of technicality, though each of these are independent variables, different combinations can be made to create different, structures. Well, my dear students, if you look at the screen, I'm going to share with you different classifications according to the Oxford Thesaurus of English 2006 that it has given for this term register. If you look at the screen, you would see in the purple color the first one as informal, then vulgar slang, then technical, then literary, then dated, humorous, archaic, and rare. It is interesting that we have already talked about this formal and informal through the examples that I have already shared. We have also talked about this technical and non-technical. But there are so many other, classifications as well. Quickly going through them, informal means used in contexts such as conversations or letters between friends, where the relationship is informal. Secondly, vulgar slang, that is informal language. Again, it shares something here that may cause offense, where, the purpose is not to please the other person, rather it is offensive. Then, formal. When it becomes formal, normally used in writing such as official documents. Technical, that is used as a specialist's language. For example, technical language choice that is made by a doctor, or that is made by a lawyer, or that is made by, for example, any person from a particular profession. The next one is literary. This kind of register is found mainly in literature that is written in an elevated style. As far as dated, register is concerned, it means no longer used by the majority of English speakers. It is dated. And within that, if you look at this historical, it is still used today, but, it refers only to some practice or article that is no longer a part of the modern world. So, dated and historical actually are interrelated. As far as humorous is concerned, it is used with the intention of sounding funny or playful. And what I would say is, if you look at the language of jokes, it's a particular kind of a language. Again, what is archaic? It also relates to dated and historical in some ways, because it is very old-fashioned language that is not used in ordinary world at all today. And the last one that I would share is rare. What is that? Well, it is used, but it is not common. So these were all the classifications given in the Oxford Thesaurus of English 2006 when it comes to the classification of register. Well, my dear students, there are some other aspects that I would like to point out with reference to register. The first one is registers and professions. Every profession has its own register, which means it has its own way of using language. And, register is not only the vocabulary choices, it is the choices of structures, it is the choices of the syntax, and it is choice of grammar as well. So, a doctor's register would be different from a musician's register, and a musician's register would be different, for example, a literary person's register. Register is functional variation. This is very important for us because register is a variety that is to perform certain functions. In a particular situation where you want to create a certain identity as a certain professional, for example, and you want to perform a certain function, for that purpose, register is used. I hope you remember at the outset of the session, I said that register is depending upon the variation that is based on the language used, that is functional, not the user.